Hi, if you've ever wondered what it's like to be a life coach, and you're looking about how do we go about getting a life coach certification, well, you've come to the right place. Over the next few minutes, what we'll do is we're going to go through and we'll talk about a few different things. We'll talk about the difference between a coach, a facilitator, a counselor, even a strategic advisor. And we'll go through and we'll talk about how do you get the different types of certifications, what's that take, and what is the benefits, the pros and cons of some of those. So, you ready? Let's dive in. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, partners, the world changes. So when it comes to certifications, there's a wide variety of certifications that are out there. The first thing is you have to start to define clearly, what is it you want to be doing? How do you want to be helping people? Now, if you're one of those people who just innately is the person that everybody comes and talks to, and you have that intuition, that ability to really help people, maybe barking up the right tree. And the fun thing is there can be some good money around this. I happen to make over $1,000 an hour with the coaching and strategic advising that I do. But the thing is you've got to have the tools, and you've got to be able to build the trust and make sure that you're really genuinely having an impact. This isn't a flash in the pan. This is something that if you truly in your heart genuinely want to help people, and you can do it, then it'll make a big difference. So let's go through and talk briefly about the different types of programs or different types of ways. There's all sorts of tools out there where people can go out and get certified to become facilitators. Now, a lot of times this is more in a business setting. And in the business setting, facilitation, in my opinion, is basically it's helping walking people through, but where they already have the answers, and it's taking them through a process that helps them end up with an outcome that they're trying to achieve. Usually when you're facilitating, a lot of times it's with a group, but you're not actually doing much of a deep dive. You're not really getting intimate with them. Now, a counseling, my wife is a counselor. Counseling, in my opinion, deals primarily with the challenges of the past. And counseling is something that in most states you're going to need a board certification. A lot of times you need a lot of education for this, master's degree or better. And it's not at all uncommon that you may have 2,000 to 5,000 hours of experience to get to that counseling. Now, here's the thing though. I know counselors who make $40 an hour, and on the high end, counselors may make $200-300 an hour. But on the opposite end, very few coaches make less than $200 an hour. And there's a lot of out there that'll make the $500 to $700 an hour. Plus, and there are those out there who do even better. Now, when it comes to coaching, I look at counseling as something that's addressing the challenges of the past. Usually it involves therapy, and that's something that if it gets into that area, boy, I'm really going to suggest you encourage people to find a professional, or even partner with somebody who is a professional in that space so you can refer them. Because we genuinely want to help people in whatever is the highest and best use. Now, when it comes to actually for coaching a lot of times is helping people deal with the insecurities and the challenges of moving forward in life. What's holding them back? And this is an area that's different than facilitation in that it requires us a lot of times to go deeper, and we have to go through and be fearless. I like to say that one of my obligations when I'm working with a client is to be 100% prepared to be fired. What I mean by that is if I'm not willing to come there and really call them out, be there for them, but challenge with compassion and love, but not from a scarcity mindset, not from a jumping on them in a negative way, but hey, what about this? Or you're getting in your own way. I've picked up more than one heavy hitter CEO because I was willing to call them out in very direct, very candid ways that they didn't necessarily want to hear, but actually they really felt that they needed to hear. And a lot of times coaching is going to empower people to start looking at the whole person, not one segment or another, but the whole person. And then when we do that, well, when you become a better spouse, when you become a better parent, when you take care of yourself physically better, and when you're sleeping better, oddly, these are the kinds of things that actually make you a much better leader. Now, it isn't just in business. This applies whether you're an endurance coach, physical coach, in a variety of different ways. So there's a real blend that's starting to happen across the industry in so many different ways. So some people are integrating their life coaching in with their physical fitness practices. Maybe it's they're integrating more of a life coach or a holistic approach, the whole person into the business. But it's making sure that that's something that you want to do. You got to be honest with yourself, because if it isn't, no worries. There's plenty of work out there without that. But if it is, if you're looking to go deeper, then that's going to allow you to, figure out how can you create a deeper, more intimate relationship with people and actually have a bigger impact when you're working with them. Now, the last one is around the strategic advisor. And this is an area that I do a lot of. But a strategic advisor is a challenge to get to because, well, candidly, you have to have the experience and you have to have the ability to connect the dots and help people so that you become, for lack of a better word, their consigliere, their person that individual will come and reach out to and say, hey, I'm having a challenge with this, or what's your opinion about that? And it's something that requires a fairly in-depth piece of knowledge. But if we step back and we look at the coaching, how can you get involved? How can you become more intimate and involved with coaching? Part of the idea, why you're watching this, is to learn about certifications. With Life on Your Terms, lifeon-yourterms.com, we do offer certifications, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. You're welcome to come on and I'll talk through what that course looks like in a different video. But what we do is we have the approach of giving and empowering coaches to have a bunch of tools that empower them to then use those tools, like an arrow, pull out which arrow out of their quiver of skills that they need to meet that to meet that client in their coaching capacity when they need them. Now, in some cases, this may be doing an initial assessment. I like to say that every organization, individual, even couples, go through one of 4 phases. It's stabilize, visualize, strategize, and execute. So within this, the Life on Your Terms programs actually has a bunch of tools for all of these. And when you're looking at a certification program, I would highly, highly recommend make sure that you get actionable tools that you're going to walk away with, so it empowers you to not just walk away with, okay, well, I got a certification, because candidly, that doesn't hurt anything. Having something that says, yeah, I've been through this program, I understand this, I've invested in this, so now you can invest in me. But the real juice, in my opinion, comes from when you have tools and you can meet those people where they're at and help them be very, very successful at what they're doing. And with Life on Your Terms, we have over 13 tools that we provide. And the way that we walk people through is that we require people to go through the course themselves. It's over 8 weeks, virtual. But then as practitioners, they actually get to see the process. They get to participate in the process. And the intimacy that they create and how they can then use those tools in a way that fits for them and for their client is very different. The thing is, after that then, we have people that stick around and they are part of mastermind groups, because this is the word practice. Coaching practice, counseling practice, a facilitation, they're practices. They're something that means that we are always asymptotically getting closer and closer to perfection, but we never will. It's something that we always can be working on to get better. And when we look at what are the practices that we can do, well, how do we do that? And with this and with Life on Your Terms is we have masterminds after people have gone through the course, and it's an invitation only, and it's only people who've been through the course that can be in our mastermind groups to become better facilitators, better teachers, better coaches, learn how to use the tools, and then also how is it they can even become better themselves. Plus, we invest a fair amount of time helping people learn how to build and manage their practices. How do you manage that? To where maybe you're working with a handful of clients and get the ability to hang out at a cool place like here in Cabo, where I've actually been able to do some work and reach out to clients. Tell you what, man, I feel like the luckiest cat on the planet. But it didn't happen by accident. It's something that we put a lot of intention to in trying to drive to get to that point. So when it comes to how you get a life coach certification, go out and think about where is it you want to be. Start with that end in mind. What does amazing look like for your life? And then start figuring out what are the best tools that are going to help you back into where you want to get to so that you can achieve that. Now, one other question a lot of people ask is what kind of certification do I need? It's going to vary from state to state, but for the most part, when it comes to the life coaching or for creating an additional supplement to your existing coaching practice, and whether that may be physical, it may be business, it may be who knows, whatever it is. But when we can address and look at the whole person, that's when things really change. And usually in most of those cases, it isn't something that you need a license to do. So again, we would love to talk to you about this if you think it's a good fit. If it's not, no worries. But if you're interested in this, we'd love to have you go to lifeon-yourterms.com and reach out, we'll set up a time to chat, and we'll see if there's a fit here. Maybe we can help you figure out what your dreams are. Because I gotta tell you, when you get there, man, you gotta feel like the luckiest guy on the planet. Keep smiling, everybody. Thank you.